Last week, Canva was down when I was trying to post my video. And if you go back and look at all the different thumbnails that I have, normally I have a picture of me and I take that before I start recording a video so that I have like a photo and then I can upload it to Canva, the app that I use for editing and creating images. So I usually take a still photo of myself and then I record my video. And then while the video is uploading, I'll upload the video that I have had taken of myself. I upload it to Canva and I add words and try to make it like, grab your attention to make you go like, ooh, what's this? And so I couldn't do that last week. And so I want to tell you something that something that came from it that was actually good. And I was at the time very annoyed. First world problem. Seriously, like, oh, poor Kendall. Canva was down. However will she make it? So I recognized first world problem, not the end of the world. But I want to tell you about it because what came from that ended up being kind of like a microcosm, a mini version of like a life lesson that happened to coincide with one of the books that I wanted to tell you about that I had finished reading. So books will be woven into at the end of the life lesson, the whole situation that happened with Canva being down. It will tie in, but first, let me tell you what happened because, like I said, last week, the app that I use for photo editing and image creation, that was down. And I did the whole thing where I Google, like, is Canva down right now? And then, it's even more infuriating because it's like every website I went to was like, we see no indication that there's problems with a Canva, which makes you think like, oh, so you think it's me? Is it a problem with me, Canva? No. So Canva for me was having problems. It wouldn't let me make anything. Like I would try to click and create a new thing and it just kept getting this error message. No matter what I tried, log out, log back in, erase the app, then upload the app again or download the app, whatever you do with app, make it disappear, then make it come back, log in again. No, error. And meanwhile, I'm like, I just really wanted to have this video uploaded at this time. Why? Because, I live in America and I am maybe conditioned to be like, I want something, so it needs to happen now. And it should happen because this is America. So anyways, heaven forbid I run into technical trouble. Anyways, that could be a whole other video. What I want to say is Canva was down and I was not going to be able to add words to, the more I describe it, the more lame this sounds. That's like a problem. I'm telling you, there are bigger real world applications for this. So please bear with me. Hang in there with me because it will tie into like actual problems that people encounter in life. So I wasn't going to be able to upload the photo that I had taken and then add wording to it that I think is going to be eye-catching and will increase my, what's it called? Click-through rate, to where like people see the image, the thumbnail of your video, and it makes them want to click on it, click through, and watch your video. So you have to get their attention visually so that they'll actually, click on your video to watch it. So I was frustrated because I'm like, oh, I just, it'll be better. I'll get a better click-through rate if I have catchy words or at least something there that gets people to go, what's this about? So I was really frustrated. I was like, fine, I'll just do a photo of I'll just upload the photo and the photo will be the thumbnail. And I guess that's just how it's going to have to be. So I did try to I was able to, in my whatever app that I have on my iPad, I was able to adjust the lighting so you could see it better. And anyways, I was able to do something to brighten the image, but it really, if you go back and look at it, it's just a picture of me going like this or, something like that. And I thought this is going to be lame, but oh well, whatever. You can only do what you can do. First world problem. So I worked with what I had. And then, surprise, surprise, in the YouTube creator studio, where you can check on your statistics. How is this video performing? How's my channel doing? All that stuff. I looked at the stats for that video and wouldn't you know it? For the last 28 days of my channel, the video with no words on the thumbnail, it's just a picture of me going, highest click-through rate out of all videos within the last month that I have done, the last 28 days. It's stayed at number 1. I think there was a day where it was at number 2 ranking, but other than that, for like 6 or 7 days, it's been the video steadily having the highest click-through rate. I'm like, okay. So the thing that caused me a great amount of frustration made me have to work with what I have and just put something out there, just do something to move forward and have it not be perfect or not what I wanted. And it ended up being the video with the highest click-through rate in the last month of my channel. Oh, right. So that all is a first world problem. It is no big deal and is not important. But you and I do have things happen in our lives that are important, that do impact us, that can be very discouraging, where you are trying to do something, you've worked toward doing something, and all of a sudden the door closes. You cannot do that. That's not open to you anymore. This path that you are on, it's not happening. And that can be devastating and has real life, real world, personal consequences and effects on how we feel, how our life path goes. These are a big deal. And these are the things I want to talk about because I have had those things happen to me. You have had those things happen to you. You can probably think of them right now. What are the things in your life that you either worked really, really hard to make happen, and then all of a sudden it's gone, or it's not happening anymore, or you can't do that? Things outside of your control. I'm not talking about things where you're like, maybe make a different choice or just try this and that you've tried everything and it's become very clear that a door has closed for you. And something that you want to do, or something that you were trying to pursue, or something that you worked so hard to do and it doesn't happen. A small scale version of this for me, I don't know if you, maybe I'll link it. I'll link it in the description. I have a video where I say that my online business failed. So, yes, that was a huge bummer and discouraging, but it's not like, on the scale of disappointments, I've had worse, but it was still disappointing. Feel free to check that video out. I'll link it down there where I say that my online business officially failed. So, there's those kinds of things. And then there's huge things like that is a big deal to me. But then there's also other things in my life that I've just, door closed, door closed, door closed. And for me, the things that help me are, I think, here's what I want to say. I'm not usually encouraged by stories of people who are like, I tried, I always wanted this thing to happen and I tried and I failed and it wasn't happening. And then all of a sudden it did happen. Yay. Like, that's cool. And it's inspiring in some ways, but let me tell you something. I am way more inspired by the stories of people who tried to do something, wanted to do something, didn't give up, kept persevering, kept trying. And when something happens to where it's clear, this is not happening for you. How do they get through it? How did their lives end up still making an impact and they had purpose? And what did that look like for them? That, to me, is much more encouraging. Like, for example, when I was single, I wanted to be married since I was little. And like, I didn't get married till I was like 35. I thought I was going to get married at like 18, 19, 20. It's silly, I know, but that was the world I was in. So I would often hear stories of people who were single, and their story would be like, well, I was single a long time too, and then I met someone, yay! And I'd be like, that's cool, but like, I really wanted more to hear stories of people who didn't get what they wanted. How do you handle that? How are you going to keep going from that? Show me what you did. How did you continue to find joy and purpose and connection and satisfaction in your life? That's encouraging to me. I love seeing that. So what I wanted to say is sometimes, as I'm illustrating through the very first world problem issue of my app didn't work, and so I didn't get to do a thumbnail like I wanted on my YouTube video. Okay, but in life, sometimes when your path is blocked or a door has closed for you or the thing you were so invested in just does not happen, doesn't get to happen, that there is still purpose and joy and connection and purpose. Yeah, purpose keeps coming back to me for some reason. There is purpose. You have purpose. I have purpose. We still have purpose in life when we have those disappointing things happen, either a career or a relationship or, man, it could be so many things. I'm sure you could think of all the other things that it could be, ranging in various intensities. So I wanted to say that even if a door has closed to you that has been really disappointing to you, I want to encourage you that you still have purpose. You have purpose. Even if you don't know what it is right now, keep going because you do have purpose. And I have found that connecting with others, staying connected, having connections with others, whether that's something as simple as like something friendly or something encouraging, being connected with other people has a huge part of that, either whether it's one-on-one or group or whatever. Anyways, I wanted to say that. And then I did want to share with you one book that I finished reading, and then and it ties in very, very, very much to what I'm talking about. And I didn't even plan this. It's one of those book serendipity things, in a way, kind of. Anyways, that's a different topic. But I did not plan for this book to match the thing that happened. Anyways, I just want to tell you about the book I read, and I'm going to also tell you about books that don't have anything to do with what I just talked about, but they're current reads. So the book that I finished reading, was A Voice Like Mine. Why does that look backwards? I hope it doesn't look backwards to you. I don't understand that. I'm really hoping that doesn't look backwards to you. It doesn't usually do that. Anyways, in case that is backwards to you, that's A Voice Like Mine. It is the autobiography of Deb Haaland, and she is the first Native American to be appointed to a federal level, presidential cabinet. The year, I don't remember. Anyways, this is her story. And the reason it ties in, it's so cool how it ties in with this, because there are a lot of things in this story that are important, but something really encouraging that I got from this was part of her story. She talks about from like childhood and family relationships, and then as she grows up, the different opportunities she had, the education she pursued. I almost went out of screen there. Sorry. Scooting up, then I disappear. So then she talks about her career life, and that's something I want to mention, because it is really cool to like hear about her childhood. And as I mentioned in my last video, she had a really special relationship with her grandparents, and she talks about that, and she talks about the food that they made, and just really cool things to hear about anybody's life, but especially her experience. I didn't know much about her, so I enjoyed hearing about her life. But here's the part that has to do with the thing I just said. There's a part in here, I don't know if you have spoilers for memoirs, but if you really don't want to know anything about, if you're wanting to read this and you're like, no, don't spoil it for me. It's like, I guess if a memoir can have spoilers, here's a spoiler. So just be ready. decides that she wants to go to law school. And so she studied, like, I don't remember how many years. You may out there know how many years you go to law school to become a lawyer. So she worked long hours, studied so hard, did all her classes. She had a daughter at the time. So she was, her daughter, she had to work through like childcare, or like, oh, my daughter's going to hang out outside the classroom while I'm in here. And just like, there was so much life put into becoming a lawyer. And she went through law school. And it was this, huge accomplishment to get through law school. And then it was like, all right, now I just take the bar exam and then here I go, to practice law. So she takes the bar exam and she didn't pass. She takes it again and she doesn't pass. Spoiler alert, she doesn't pass. Like, she tries multiple attempts at the bar exam. And she just starts to realize, like, I don't think this is going to happen. Now, I thought, like you hear in so many other inspirational stories, I thought it was going to be like, but I took it one last time and I did it. And then I was a lawyer and, but no, she talks about how she had to grieve and be like, I guess that's not happening for me. And it was like just so heartbreaking to hear. And, but here's the inspirational part. For me, what was inspirational was not that she finally took it and then got to be a lawyer just like she always wanted. No, the part that was inspiring for me was what she describes happening next. She didn't pass the bar exam. And then it turned out her brother ended up needing help with his girls at home. And I won't go into the whole thing, but he needed her help and was struggling. And so because she's not pursuing being a lawyer, she's available. And she and her daughter moved to, I think it was California. And she and her daughter spend 1.5 years getting super close to her nieces and like cooking for them and spending time with them, hanging out with them. They get so close. I was like, oh, this sounds so cool. But she got this incredible 1.5 years with her nieces and just this time that she wouldn't have had otherwise. So it was beautiful that she found connection and purpose through after, not through, I guess I would say, like, she didn't find it through her disappointment, but like on the other side of disappointment was this super close, incredibly special time that she got to bond with her nieces. It was so beautiful. It was really cool to hear. And then on the other side of that, further down the path, she gets an email that she thinks is spam, and it's inviting her to lunch with the president. It was it Obama at the time? And so she thinks it's spam, of course, and it's like, why am I getting invited to lunch in the White House? No. So she sends it to the spam folder. It's like, that's silly. Well, then she gets a phone call from a number she doesn't recognize. Long story short, she really did get invited to lunch with the president, with several other people. But it was just so beautiful to hear that this woman who had worked so hard had been through this major disappointment, but on the other side of it was adventure and honor and this huge opportunity that, like, who would have ever thought that, as she calls herself, this is not my description of her, as she calls herself, I'm just a mom trying to live life, or, she describes herself like, why would just a single mom trying to make ends meet get invited to the White House, to have lunch with the president? And part of it is because the people on his team had called and said, who among you worked the hardest during the campaign? Because she was working in volunteer capacity for like getting out the vote. And, so she was volunteering her time, and her other fellow volunteers said right away, oh, Deb was the hardest worker in that campaign. So because of that, she got to go to the White House and have dinner with Obama. Or lunch. Anyways, it just goes on from there. And then she ends up, getting appointed to Secretary of the Interior, which was incredible. And so, anyways, I wanted to share that because that is the biggest thing that I got from her story, is that on the other side of disappointment, there was still life and joy and adventure and opportunity. So I really wanted to share that with you. Other notes, I would say, like, I don't know if it's because this was a advanced readers edition, which means this is not the official final published wording, So after winning this, they would go on to publish the book and make changes. I don't know if they made changes. Anyways, all that to say, there were, I think, some editing things in this book where I thought like it got kind of confusing or random, where it was like, it was interesting parts of her life, but they just kind of seemed like out of sync with, it'd be like, oh, and then this thing happened. And then something really random would be in between two paragraphs. So I'm like, I don't know. So maybe if you go online and you look for the official published edition one, it has a different cover, which is really cool. You should Google the cover. It's like a really awesome cover. So it'll have a different cover, and maybe it'll be more coherent after a further editing process. But other than that, it was just really cool to hear about her and her life. So thus ends the life lesson portion. I don't know how to describe it. I'm now going to just tell you my current reads is basically what I'm trying to tell you. I am still reading When Strivings Cease. I needed to tell you, the last time I mentioned this book and this author, since that time, I realized I was saying her name incorrectly. I was saying Ruth Chou Simons, and I found her on YouTube. She does have a YouTube channel, and I heard her saying her own name. She says her name Ruth Chou Simons. So I'm going to correct myself. And so this is When Strivings Cease by Ruth Chou Simons. And I'm still, a little over halfway through. I'm kind of doing like, I guess you call it a buddy read with a couple of friends. So that's why I'm not finished with it yet. Otherwise, I think I could finish this in like a couple days, but we're taking it slowly and then just, reading it separately, but then we come together and talk about the chapters that we read. So I'm still reading this, still highly recommend it if you didn't see my last video about it. It's a mix of a memoir of her life, talking about being the daughter of an immigrant, daughter in an immigrant family, daughter of immigrants. There we go. And also mixed it in with her experience with faith and how she went from feeling like she had to like perform and just keep getting better and like self-improvement, feeling the stress of self-improvement and moving in her faith from looking at faith like that into feeling much more freedom to just be and to exist. So that's still been really good. And finally, I am reading The Bellmaker by Brian Jacques. Oh, look what is happening. What's that? I don't know what's happening. Anyways, at least I acknowledge it so you won't be distracted by it anymore. I am reading, reflection there, The Bellmaker by Brian Jacques. I did look up his last name years ago because I would have said Jacques, but he did not say it Jacques. He said his own name, Brian Jacques. So there you go. Brian Jacques is the author of the Redwall series. So this is book, I think, 7 in the Redwall series. And oh my goodness, you guys might know, I barely ever give a book 5 stars. But when I first read book number 1 in this series, 5 stars, I would give it 20 stars out of 5. Like, loved it. These books, if you look closely, you'll see these are woodland creatures. Maybe you can't see that very well. There's an otter and there is a mole and there is a mouse. And then there's also like a special shiny ethereal supernatural mouse hovering above the other mouse. What are these books about? Basically, imagine like in Lord of the Rings, there's the hobbits and the hobbit world where it's like super cozy. Everybody's kind of like a homebody. They like to stay home. They like to just enjoy good food and happy times. So like imagine hobbits, but like imagine that they're all woodland creatures like mice and otter and moles, hedgehogs. There's all badgers. So imagine Hobbiton, but character filled instead of hobbits. They're all woodland creatures. And then also, just like the hobbits had to experience, evil villains threaten their cozy world and their neighbors. And then they have to be like brave warriors. And it's so cool. So if that sounds good to you, you have to read the Redwall series. At least one. Start with number 1. I think it's just called, I don't have it on my shelf here. I think it's just called Redwall, book 1. You have to. If any of that sounded good to you, you'll just love it. That's why. You don't have to. But I think you'll love it. So right now I'm reading The Bellmaker, and it already has all the things that I love in these books. There's yummy food descriptions, beverage descriptions, nature. Then there's like adorable little creatures with their own little personalities. And there are brave warriors, male and female. It's so cool. There's like, right now there's a mouse maiden who wields a giant rope with a knot in it. And she's like coming against the evil rats and weasels. It's like super cool. Anyways, this is book number 7 and I'm loving it. Basically, like, I could give you the specifics of the plot, but everything I just said is basically the plot of every book, just with different villains and different situations and different generations of the animals. It's so good. This is also cool. I'm enjoying this because these books are not ones that I try to like race through and like, okay, let's just get this book done with so I can get to the next one. This is the type of book that I just sit and read and take my time with, and I just sit with the book and enjoy it. So that I'm enjoying that change of pace, because some of the books I've read lately, I'm like, okay, this is fine, but like, let's get through this one so I can get to the next one that I might enjoy better. Not The Bellmaker. I am just loving it, and I'm fine with going slowly through it. It's been good. So that's what I've been reading. And as always, feel free to let me know what you've been reading, or if you've read any of these books, or your thoughts on these things. If you would like to further support the channel, feel free to check out my Buy Me a Coffee site in the description, or check out the journal that I created, the gratitude journal. And all that stuff's in the description. Take care, and see you in the next one. Bye.